Good evening from wherever you are watching us. As the country obviously holds its breath on what to expect, we know IEBC Chair Wafula Chebukati is saying that his commission will only declare the presidential candidate who wins the 2002 general election after all the forms 34A, the forms 34B have been verified. Of course, that waiting, perhaps testing a bit of the patience of the citizens in the country, but then there's the aspect of the law that allows 7 days for the collation and for the verification to happen before the announcement of the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya is made. And so we hope a little later on to move over to the Bomas of Kenya, where our colleague Regina Manyara is. She has been holding fort there for quite some time. And so we'll be getting the very latest from her in just a little while. And so let's take a look at our lead stories that coming to us later on, but let's move you over to the Bomas of Kenya, where Regina Manyara is on standby. Regina.
We have been keeping tabs on what is happening at the National Tallying Center right here on Bomas of Kenya. Just a few minutes ago, we actually went live with a prayer session where we had Archbishop Ole Sepit leading the prayers there to continue having a peaceful atmosphere across the country as the IEBC continues verifying the results and Form 34As and 34Bs. And anxiety is rife, yes, among Kenyans owing to the variation in the results being broadcast there. So that was what was happening earlier. We're also going to be giving you a sneak peek of what is currently happening right here from the National Tallying Center. I'm Regina Manyara. Thank you for your time. To you, Tom.
Many thanks indeed, Regina. We'll be coming back to you a little later on. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Caroline Njoroge. Our socials are at KBC Channel 1, my Twitter handle at Tomboy. Let's take a look at our top stories. The wait is almost over. Presidential election returning officer Wafula Chebukati starts releasing verified results.
We are appealing that he report to any of the police station of his choice or the nearest police station.
DCI orders Kimilili MP-elect Didimas Baraza to surrender to the nearest police station by 8 p.m. It's thumbs up. Elections Observer Group give 2022 general election a clean bill of health. Well, we are crossing over to Bomas, where my colleague Regina Manyara is on standby. Regina.
On Thursday, August 11th,
Indeed, thank you very much, Tom. Indeed, Kenyans have made their decision and IEBC is executing its mandate. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission is verifying physical Form 34A and 34B forms received from returning officers for tallying of the presidential results. IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati says the electoral body has the last word on the final results, and Kenyans should not be alarmed by the variation of results being broadcast by various media houses.
Receiving forms 34A and 34B as well as verifying them.
This is the result for Webuye East Constituency Bungoma County. Total number of registered voters, 48,950. Total valid votes cast, 30,491. Rejected ballots, 384. Raila Odinga, 13,720. William Samoei, 16,412. Waihika David Maure, 110. Wachakoya George Lushiri, 249.
IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati says the voting process, even in places that had insecurity issues, was successful, with most of the forms 34A being signed prior via the KIMS kit.
Also wish to state that the results transmission of Form 34A from the polling station is ongoing. As you can see on the screen, we are at 99.84%.
Areas that use the manual register, which include 84 polling stations in Kibwezi and 154 polling stations in Kakamega, have subsequently uploaded their Forms 34A, with at least 2 from Malava expected to upload their forms. With over 64% of Kenyans having voted, the IEBC chair maintains the presidential results will be released within 7 days. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Well, that is IEBC Chairperson Wafula Chebukati earlier on giving his official brief and taking time to remind Kenyans that the results announced at the various polling stations are final indeed. Now, the election observer groups have given the electoral process in Kenya a clean bill of health. In separate press briefings, the head of the East African Community Election Observation Mission, Jakaya Kikwete, and former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, the head of the International Election Observer Mission, said Kenyans have set the pace to be emulated for democratic, peaceful and transparent electoral processes not only in Africa but across the world.
The election observer groups have urged voters in Kenya to exercise patience as vote tallying by the Independent Electoral and Borders Commission continues. Former Tanzanian President Jakaya Kikwete, who is heading the East Africa Community Election Observation Mission, lauded Kenya for a largely smooth general election and vote counting tolerance.
Would like to appeal to all political actors and stakeholders in Kenya, including the great people of Kenya, to continue to maintain peace after the results of the elections are declared.
He says that though there were a few isolated cases of technological and administrative features, the election process was to a large extent conducted well. According to Kikwete, the IEBC, however, needs to take corrective measures to ensure the hitches do not recur.
With regards to the layout of polling stations, it is the opinion of East African community observers that party agents were placed too far from the polling official who is identifying the voters. For purposes of enhancing checks and balances in future elections, the IEB should consider placing party agents close to that official to ascertain the authenticity of voters.
Voters were able to cast ballots for their candidates of their choice in a generally orderly and peaceful process. Polling workers were knowledgeable and appeared to be well trained, and they worked hard to ensure that every eligible voter was allowed to cast a vote.
Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan, the head of International Election Observer Mission, says the gesture by IEBC of employing women managers for polling stations is a sign of equity in the society.
There's a significant improvement in Kenya in terms of course, Kenya is quite good in IT. because even issues of money, it's one of the first countries that started using IT to move money and so on that before every other person started.
The Commonwealth Observer Group Chair, Bruce Golding, commended Kenya's peaceful environment in the pre-election and electioneering period.
The group was concerned about the impact of the manipulation of social media to influence the perception of voters. And in that regard, we note that the Commission had proactively engaged social media platforms to restrict misinformation and disinformation. We commend that effort, and we urge that in future that effort be intensified.
The African Union and COMESA Election Observation Mission lauded IEBC's use of KIMS kit for identification of voters based on lessons learned from previous elections.
The use of KIMS kit to identify a voter and transmit the results directly to as the presidential results sent directly to Nairobi is quite good. In my country, my professor, my chairman of my INEC is here. We don't do that. The chain is long. We do polling at the polling unit, then you now collate at the wards, then you move to the local government, then from local government to the state before you send it. So along this long line, anything can happen.
Irene Mchuma Odem, the Prime Edition.
Election observers there giving Kenya's electoral process that began 2 days ago a clean bill of health. Later on in the course of this particular broadcast, we also have an exclusive interview with the IEBC Commissioner in charge, that is Justice Nyagaya, to just bring us up to speed in regard to the status of the electoral process, as well as the tallying that is currently and verification that is currently underway. But that is way later into this particular broadcast. Now, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission has commended Kenyans for conducting themselves peacefully and urging them to patiently wait for the results. Former head of Civil Service, Ambassador Francis Mutara, who heads the NCIC panel of eminent persons, also lauded candidates who have considered defeat, saying it was prudent to champion peace and dialogue, as well as management of post-election matters.
This is a true testament to the maturity of the Kenyan people and our desire for genuine, lasting peace. We also commend the presidential candidates for committing themselves to peacefully accept the results and the loser to seek, if necessary, legal redress. Indeed, we call on the candidates to appeal for peace during the waiting period and appeal to their supporters to join them in accepting the results. The IEBC will be the ones to announce the final election result to the Kenyans, the final election results.
Well, that's just a recap in regard to the status of Kenya's electoral process that took place on the 9th. There, though some parts of the country, like Elders, was delayed, but the IEBC has confirmed so far each and every Kenyan who had registered to participate in the electoral process has, and tallying is already underway. And talking about tallying, I wanted we take you to Kilifi, where our reporter Junaid Karisa is on standby to bring us the latest from Kilifi, where the tallying is currently ongoing. Good evening, Karisa.
Good evening, Regina. We are coming to you live from Kilifi South Constituency in Kilifi County. And since the whole day, we have been waiting for the provincial results of the 7 constituencies of Kilifi County. And at least now we can inform our viewers that we have slightly from 5 constituencies. We can give the presidential results from these constituencies. Let me start with Rabai County, Rabai constituency rather, where the provisional results are out for the presidency. In Rabai, Raila Odinga has managed to garner 18,645 votes, followed by William Ruto with 9,700 votes. The current member of parliament results have also been relayed in that area, and the Anthony Kenga of the party has managed to clinch that seat with 10,737 votes, followed by Mohammed Mdigo of the ODM party, who managed to garner 7,802 votes. Let's head to Malindi constituency rather, where from here we Amina Mnyazi of the ODM party has managed to garner most votes in that constituency, and she has managed to garner several votes. She comes in first, followed by the power candidate who has come in second. Remember, the Malindi constituency, this is where Aisha Juma comes, and we had expected that the UDA party or the power party has swing votes in this particular area, but it did not manage to. So Raila Odinga in Malindi constituency has managed to get 27,676 votes, followed by William Ruto of the UDA party, who has managed to clinch 13,841 votes. This comes as a shock to many, probably because Malindi is the hometown of Aisha Juma, who is tailing behind ODM gubernatorial candidate Gideon Moi in this race. Let's head to in Magarini constituency. Here we haven't received the parliamentary results. However, we have received the presidential results, and Raila Odinga again is leading with 30,568 votes, followed by William Ruto with 11,049 votes in Magarini. So those are some of the provisional results that we have managed to garner right now. My colleagues are spread out across Kilifi County, just bringing you headlines of what is happening at this stage. The constituency tallying centers are relaying results as to who has won the presidency, the member of parliament, and the MCA. Of course, the senator and the women rep positions are also being announced, but they're coming in later. In Magarini, for example, they have decided to announce the member of county assembly, and we are waiting for the member of parliament seats to hear the conclusive results. But earlier on, we had informed our viewers that out of the 7 constituencies, 4 member of parliament from the ODM party have managed to clinch that seat from our statistics that we have received on our desk, and we have confirmed that in Malindi, Amina Mnyazi has come in first. In Ganze, Teddy Mwambire has managed to be ousted by the Kennedy Tungule. He's from the party. In Kilifi North, we understand that Owen Baya of the UDA party is leading in that area. However, in Rabai, we have seen that also the power party dominating in that area. In Kaloleni, Paul Katana is clenching that seat with the ODM party. So we are here in Kilifi North, Kilifi South. I'm joined by my colleague Aisha Hamis to just give us a perspective. I understand we are waiting just behind us. We are waiting for the announcements of the parliamentary seat as to who has won. But from our desk, we understand Ken Chonga is leading from the ODM party. So Asha, tueleze tu kwa kifupi, Rais aliyechaguliwa na watu wa Kilifi South ni kina nani, na tukienda mbele, je, wawakilishi wadi pia kulingana na vile vyama ni nani wameweza kuchukua bendera kutoka eneo hili?
Okay, shukran sana mwenzangu Juni. Na tuko hapa katika shule ya upili ya KP Senior Secondary School Mtwapa, ambayo ndio imekuwa ikiserve kama Kilifi South Constituency Tallying Center. Na kufikia sasa mwendo wa saa 1 hivi, matokeo ya urais yalitangazwa, yale yalikuwa yamejumuishwa katika kituo hichi, na Raila Odinga alijizolea kura nyingi katika eneo bunge hili, ambapo ni kura 32,548, akifuatwa na William Ruto kwa kura 10,978, Waihiga 340, samahani, Wajakoya 340 na David Waihiga More 111. Na katika hapo ni wapiga kura 97,696 ambao wamesajiliwa katika eneo bunge hili, na kwenye kura hizo za urais zilizokataliwa ni 639 na zile zilizojumulishwa ni 43,977. Kwa hivyo tuko hapa kwa wakati wote. Kutoka sasa utatangazwa matokeo ya ubunge, na kama vile ulivyoongea ni kuwa ni kama Kenchonga anaonekana kuongoza, lakini pia naye kama atatangazwa mshindi basi atakuwa ameandikisha historia, manake eneo bunge hili halina historia ya kuregesha wabunge madarakani kwa awamu mbili. Na pia tunatarajia matokeo ya women rep, ma MCA na senator.
Hapo awali kulikuwa na mtafaruku, tukaona kwamba Aisha Juma aliweza kufika mahali hapa, tunaelewa pia George Kithi alikuwa mahali hapa. Kulikoni na hali ya usalama ikoje mahali hapa?
Usalama uko sawa kabisa. Ni kweli viongozi hao wawili walifika hapa, na pia yule Said Joba alikuwa hapa. Walikuwa wameleta tetesi kuwa kuna uwizi wa kura, madai ya uwizi wa kura, na kidogo walitatiza ile shughuli ya kuhesabiwa kwa ya kujumlishwa kwa kura kwa muda, lakini polisi waliingilia kati na hali ikatulizwa. Lakini walionekana ni kama wana malalamishi ambayo walitaka bwana Juma Musa Juma, ambaye ndio returning officer wa eneo bunge hili, walitaka kuzungumza naye wakitafuta usaidizi kuhusiana na madai hayo. Lakini kama unavyoelewa, majibu yalikuwa yanatangazwa katika polling stations, so they were advised to seek other legal redress maybe, manake hapa ni kujumlisha tu. Na wamekuwa wakija hapa, jana pia kulikuwa pia na hiyo vuta nikuvute, labda pia ilishangia shughuli hii kujikokota kidogo, lakini tunashukuru kufikia sasa mambo yanaendelea vizuri, na huenda tukapata matokeo wakati wote kutoka sasa.
Shukran. What also we understand is from the county returning officer Hussein Gure is that they are awaiting the tallying from the constituency level, so that they can also tally at a county level for them to relay the actual results of the governor, the senator, and the county women representative. So from this stage we head to the Pwani University, where Hussein Gure will be conducting that exercise, and that is an exercise that he says might end at midnight, and the results might be transmitted or relayed to the public in the morning, because we understand in Kilifi North the exercise to start even announcing some of these results has not yet begun. The same applies to in another constituency which is Ganze. We understand they are yet to relay those results, so we are awaiting. What we know is Rabai, Magarini, Kilifi South and Malindi have already begun relaying those results that they have tallied. So we are awaiting to see which other constituency is declaring their winners and who has managed to fight for their seats. But for us to conclusively know who's on the lead from the county returning officer, we have to wait until tomorrow. Those are Hussein Gure's words. Now, just to clear up the air, they are yet to announce any results. So, according to our desk, from the what we have garnered from some of the forms that we have received, Gideon Ngaro is still on the lead, and no polling stations has been able to verify that Aisha Juma is coming in as first. It is a perception that many are trying trying to come to terms with, because we understand UDA and PA had made inroads in these areas. We cannot do away with still with that perception, because some of the MCAs have been elected on a PA ticket and also some on an UDA ticket, but still the ODM party continues to dominate. They have gotten a majority of the parliamentary seats and majority of the MCA level seats. So we are here with you until tomorrow morning. This is day 4, and we are continuing until the results of the governor are announced at the Pwani University to just give a feel to the audience in Kilifi County which leadership is coming in for the next 5 years. So we are heading over to the Pwani University to just get a feel of what is happening. Kilifi North will also be announcing its results. We are awaiting those results. My colleague Caroline Gilani is on that bit, and of course as the results come we will be relaying from Kilifi County. But from me and my colleague Asha, we hand it back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, my colleagues there, Janae, Carissa, and Asha, for that update in regard to what is happening in Kilifi. Now, before we hand you over back to Broadcasting House for, the following broadcast, let's just give you a sneak peek of what is happening at Uchaguzi Hall here at the National Tallying Center. What you can see in the background is activities where officers of IEBC continue verifying Form 34As, what has been meted against their originals, as well as a Form 34B. Remember, this is the National Tallying Center, and the IEBC maintains that all the results that have been announced at the various polling stations are final. We'll continue keeping tabs on what is happening, expecting either an early or 2 early updates, depending on the speed in which the officers verify what has so far been received. Those are the latest verified results that you are seeing on the screen. Now back to you, Broadcasting House. But before we get on with Kenya Decides this particular broadcast, let's take a quick breather.
Unaona venye unapenda hii kuku yako? Hivyo ndo tunafaa kupendana kama Wakenya.
Hiyo ni ukweli papa. Inafaa tupendane kama Wakenya.
Kweli? Abiria wapendwa, mnajua ni wakati mwingine wa uchaguzi mkuu. Uchaguzi unatupa fursa ya kuchagua viongozi tunaopendelea. Lakini hata tukiwa na tofauti gani za kisiasa, lazima tubaki kama Wakenya tunaopendana na kushirikiana kwa umoja na uwiano.
Sisi yote ni Kenya moja, na Kenya ni yetu sisi yote.
And together we are destined for greatness.
Together we are destined for greatness.
IEBC, your vote, your future.
Songea tukupashe na zile ambavyo vitakupa tabasamu tosha.
Hana mapenzi wala mahaba, mtoto mbaya sana huyu.
What did you just say? Sio tamthilia tu.
And why you're saying that
ni tamthilia tosha.
Alinishika hivi. What?
Sio burudani tu, ni burudani tosha.
It is the day that the Lord has made.
Na sinema bomba.
Kabisa kama uelewi kitu inafaa uelewe.
Na mada za kusisimua. KBC Channel 1, shirika la utangazaji Kenya.
Do you have a new story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Basi na waomba wa Kenya, ni wakati wa kuwa na ujasiri wa kutetea hiki kipaji. Wewe mwenzangu, hasa nyinyi wanarika, msiitikie kutumika kwa kupewa pesa ili mlete vurugu ama kuchochea. Msiitikie kutekwa nyara, kwani sio kwenye tu kipaji, ni kwa watoto na watoto wajukuu wenyu ambao tunawalindia hii nchi yetu ili iwe nchi iliyo na manufaa na amani.
We are here to destroy. The mighty will fall.
We got a driver! The members of Contra Unit! How have these guys not even been suspended after what they did? Oh my God! Oh my God! Get some help out here! No! There's global gamers involved. Another victim, this time the world champion. Where and how will this be stopped?
Your world is gonna crumble when you reach the top of the mountain.
Welcome back to Kenya Decides. As we wait for the IEBC chair, Wafula Chebukati, to give his last word on the final results, the country is in a celebratory mood for those who have made it to the National Assembly in the just concluded election. Dozens of members-elect have taken to congratulating their supporters as losers ponder over their next move 5 years in the cold. Here's that report.
Captain Ronald Karaori is the new Member of Parliament-elect for Kasarani Constituency, who contested as an independent candidate, managed 32,406 votes, beating his close opponent, John Njoroge of United Democratic Alliance, who garnered 30,444 votes. Meanwhile, Benjamin Langat, who was the Kenyan ambassador to Namibia, is the new Member of Parliament-elect for Ainamoi constituency in Kericho County after trouncing Wycliffe Ngeno, who got 3,490 votes. And Elisha Ochieng has won another term as Game Member of Parliament. Odhiambo, who vied on an Orange Democratic Movement ticket, garnered a total of 48,256 votes, while his closest rival, Isaiah Ndiege of DAPK, garnered 11,098 votes.
I therefore declare Aden Barre Duale.
While Garissa Town Member of Parliament Aden Duale retained his seat after garnering 9,905 votes against his closest rival Abdi Nasir Dalal of Orange Democratic Movement, who got 5,972 votes. Elsewhere, Martha Wangare has retained her Gilgil parliamentary seat on a UDA ticket after managing 35,363, trouncing her closest competitor, Derito Samuel, who garnered 19,764 votes. And Geoffrey Mulanya has been declared MP-elect of Nambale constituency in Busia County, having garnered 19,018 votes against his closest competitor, Kevin Okwara, who garnered 9,689 votes. Japheth Nyakundi dethroned Jimmy Angwenyi, who has served for 30 years in the Kitutu Church North parliamentary seat after garnering a total of 11,834 votes.
Obor Weda Mohammed, 5,400.
In Bajuni, Lamu East constituency, Ruwaida Mohammed was handed certificate for Member of Parliament after emerging victorious, having garnered 5,498 votes, with her closest competitor garnering 4,633 votes. In Naivasha, Jen Kehara, who vied on a UDA ticket, was declared the winner in a hotly contested parliamentary seat after she garnered 44,882 votes, followed by former Member of Parliament John Kihagi, 24,891 votes. And Joseph Cherorot is the new Member of Parliament elect for Kipkelion East Constituency. Cherorot trounced the incumbent Joseph Limo with 36,066 votes against 11,268 votes. And Agnes Pareyo of Jubilee Party has won the Narok North Constituency parliamentary seat after garnering 20,028 votes.
Now, residents of Nyeri County have expressed mixed feelings over the slow process of the tallying of presidential votes. While some residents laud the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC as well as the media for taking time in tallying the results, others are impatient about the slow process. As Gishuki Washira narrates, voters in Nyeri County are already celebrating the outcome of parliamentary and also county polls.
48 hours since voters here in Nyeri County elected their next president, the voters are still waiting for the results from IEBC. Their patience, however, is growing thin.
Tunagojea sana na inaenda polepole sana. Tunashindwa ni kwa nini. Inaenda polepole kwa sababu tulisaguana, sasa tunagojea matokeo. Na tunataka itokee haraka ili hata watoto warudi kwa shule wakiwa tukijua ni nani atakuwa president.
Sasa tunagoja sana tujue hii matokeo itatoka namna gani, kwa maana hata tunaona watu wanagoja hiyo kitu sana.
Even as Kenyans await the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission chairperson Wafula Chebukati to announce the results of the presidential election, Nyeri County residents have called on all Kenyans to maintain peace regardless of the outcome of the election.
Tumeona huku shughuli zinaendelea kama kawaida. Unaona sisi tumekuja kazi. Nashukuru sana. Tutakubali matokeo, yule mwenye atapigiwa kuwa rais ama atachaguliwa kuwa rais, na sisi tutaendelea na kazi yetu.
Tunangojea matokeo ya rais itokee vizuri, na tunaomba watu wasigomane, wakubali matokeo ile itatokea. Kama ni Ruto ni sawa, kama ni Raila Amolo Odinga tutashukuru.
But while some get impatient with the slow process of tallying presidential votes, others feel the time-consuming process is thwarting tension.
Vile IBC imeendesha election ni mzuri sana, hata vile wanafanya announcement haipi wafuasi wa mlengo huu au huyu shocks ya kuwa tumepoteza, tumeisha. Vile wanaendesha ni mzuri sana.
Inaenda sawa, lakini matokeo tunangojea kutoka kwa Chebukati. Hiyo ya TV sasa hatuyamini sana, tunataka Chebukati yeye mwenyewe.
But as presidential tallying continues, celebrations from winners and their supporters for parliamentary and county positions are already rife.
And I would also like to thank my very worthy competitors who put up a spirited fight. And I like to remind them that we only had one common denominator: our love for Teto, our desire to see our constituency rise.
Gishuki Washira, Prime Edition.
Of course, a sizable number of people impatient about the slow tallying process, but some residents lauding the IEBC for taking time and making sure that they have the right numbers. So let us move over to our tallying center. Doreen, you are next to the smart board there. I can see you. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, just before we get there, just looking at that story that Kevin Washira has done there from Nyeri and assessing the level of impatience that Kenyans have. Of course, it's a mixed reaction, kind of situation we are seeing there. But Tom, someone said that patience should also be added in our constitution.
so that we can just try and be keeping calm in, in such instances as this. But nonetheless, we just want to quickly move on to this other side and also look at how the numbers are looking like, just to again refresh your mind of basically what is happening. These are provisional results, so this simply means that these are results that are subject to change. But also again, to just submit to your consideration, IEBC has begun the verification process. So basically what that simply means, or how that is panning out, is that from the various polling stations, the slightly above 46,000 across the country, these results are being brought forth from these particular areas, together with the Form 34Bs. These are the returning officers who are bringing this, and they're bringing this to the National Tallying Center that is at the Bomas of Kenya for verification. Then after verification, that's where you see the chairman announcing the results. So far, he has announced the Webuye constituency, area, the Webuye East constituency area, and also how that process looks like. He just gives you the number of registered voters in that particular constituency, gives you the valid number of voters as per this election, as well as the spoiled ballots, and obviously the one who took the day in that constituency. So we are talking about 290 constituency plus one, making it 291. Why? We are talking about the diaspora constituency as well. So these are just some of those results that will be coming forth at the main tallying center. And I can tell you for sure, this night up until tomorrow, spilling over till tomorrow morning, our eyes will be at the Bomas of Kenya, just to bring you up to speed with basically the numbers or the figures that will be brought forth by IEBC. Because remember, again, whatever will be announced, that is final. Why? Because going by, that 2017 minor Kiaing case is that whatever is announced at the polling station is final. So now we just want to quickly look at how we are doing. Again, still sticking with the provisional results. As at now, we are still looking at the presidential race, still just coming out from the pool of the 22.1 million registered voters, and going by what we currently have right now, the figures stand at 50.84%. That is for the UDA presidential candidate, Dr. William Ruto. That is a total of 6,409,938 votes as of now. Again, just for this particular results. Also keep in mind that we are having, media doing their own tabulation. We are having the agents from the various parties as well doing their own tabulation, because this portal is open for anyone who can and wants to access it. So away from there, we go to Raila Odinga, who has a total of 48.39%, amounting to 6,100,294 votes, followed by Professor George Wajakoya of the Roots Party at 55,564, which is 0.44%. And there we have the Agano Party leader, that is David Mwaure, who has 41,433. This is 0.33%. So this is what you currently have right now in respect to, the votes cast so far. And also just going by what was announced, this was around afternoon in the second briefing that we were given or were treated to from the Bomas of Kenya there by the IEBC chairperson, is that we are looking at slightly above 14 million, voter turnout. And this is against the 22.1 million registered voters. Just going by that particular figure, we are still just, experiencing the voter apathy that we've constantly been talking about. But I want us to just go to one specific constituency, which was announced by the chairman today. This is in Bungoma County. This is just actually how it is looking like. And just going by what we currently have on our map, this night, we are seeing Mount Elgon constituency. That is so far what we currently have. And on this particular constituency, Raila has netted majority of the votes. Actually, not even majority, because it's the same. When you look at what we have there, as per our tally, we are seeing Raila Odinga at 17,646, and DP coming in, with just the same amount, 17,646. So actually, looking at the constituencies in Bungoma County, this is also equally where we have the Webuye East constituency, and this is what has been announced by the chairman there. This is after verification of the Form 34As against what is in there in the portal, together with bringing forth of the Form 34B from the constituency level. So this is what has been announced. But there's something peculiar about this area. Just looking at Bungoma County as a whole, something quite interesting about this particular area. We also know that Kimilili constituency, Didmas Baraza has retained, that particular seat, and he is from the, the larger Kenya Kwanza faction. So again, when you look at how, all this is panning out, this could perhaps also inform why we are seeing these figures as we are seeing. And again, when you look at also what was announced by the chairman there, in fact, DP was actually leading in, in the Webuye East constituency. We don't have that here, but he was actually leading with slightly above 16,000 votes, just going by what was announced there. And when you look at the larger Western region, when you look at the counties in this particular region, when you look at the 2013 elections vis-a-vis the 2017, this is some of those areas where Raila Odinga has enjoyed majority of the support. But again, going back to those areas that we talked about, battlegrounds, just looking at some of the efforts and the inroads that have been made by various candidates, this could also equally inform what we are seeing there. Not forgetting that the Ford Kenya party leader also is one of the principals in Kenya Kwanza, the senator of this particular county. So also, could this dynamics be informing what we are seeing, even as we move forward, even as we continue to await results? So this is basically what you're having in this particular, area, in respect to what has been announced, and also in respect to what we have for you there. That's the Mount Elgon constituency. Going to what also Professor George Wajakoya has, just by that particular constituency, he netted 37 votes, which is 0.10%, and followed there by David Mwaure of the Agano Party, 36 votes, a total of 0.10%. So this is just a brief of what we are having currently, but as I've told you, today our key focus will just be on results and results. We have talked about Kenyans, level of anxiety, awaiting results. We also equally know that within the constitution, IEBC still has 4 days, because they have 7 days to release results as per when, voting was conducted. So they still have time. But, just Kenyans being Kenyans, level of anxiety sometimes could go quite high, but that's why we are here, to just bring you results as it were. But right now, I just want to take it back to Tom, because he also equally has a guest there, before we continue looking at how our results are looking like, or how our tally is looking like. Tom.
Thank you, Doreen. Thank you very much, Doreen. Yes, indeed, you talk about anxiety, but we are told that the wait is almost over. The presidential election returning officer, Wafula Chebukati, obviously has started releasing the verified results. So those are all indications that we may be coming to the tail end of that process. When, we don't know, but the law allows that inside 7 days, the Wafula Chebukati, chair of IEBC, should let us know who the president-elect is. Let me bring in my guests so that we can have a conversation. Thank you, Dr. Brian Mutie, a governance expert, for joining us.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much. And Kidi Mwaga, who is a political analyst.
Thank you, Tom.
I want to thank you,
Good to see you.
For coming through. And Doreen took us to Bungoma, and I was just looking at that close tie in Mount Elgon constituency. Between the two leading lights.
Yes.
Very, very close. And I'm wondering, those are strongholds, those are battlegrounds.
In the areas that are deemed strongholds, it means that one of the candidates has got a clear lead.
Yeah.
And then the areas that we call battlegrounds are areas where a presumed winner is you don't have a presumed winner, because it means that both candidates are so strong, and the election could go either way. In the instances when a candidate, a place is deemed as a stronghold, for instance, when it comes into party politics, you realize that there are areas that where by the mere fact that you hold the ticket of a particular of the dominant political party, you are as good as elected. But when an area is deemed a battleground, you realize that even by having the ticket of the dominant parties, for instance, you still have to work your ass off during the campaigns and convince the electorate that you deserve a chance.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good. We have also seen quite some surprises, big names falling off, and then we're also seeing big names, but in the entertainment industries, a lot of younger people. I wonder what that means, Wakili.
Yeah, that actually offers that platform, that Kenya has a platform for everyone to compete competitively and effectively on an equal footing with each other. And perhaps you never know how it goes, but if you get it, you thank God for that, because Kenyan politics is quite, competitive.
And when you look at some of the big giants falling on the wayside, like Naomi Shaban from Taita Taveta, Sam Ongeri, I'm told he is also gone in terms of he has been defeated. You look like big names such as in Meru, of course, I'm told there's a new kid on the block. In Kirinyaga, of course, there are rumors that Menji might be on her way out. Langata is also, Langata, of course, Nixon Correro was not such a big fish, but at least now that we have somebody coming from the showbiz taking that mantle, I think it's also a replica of what happened in Starehe in 2017 when Jaguar actually took over the mantle in Starehe at that particular point. So that shows that the dynamics are there for us to reel about, and it also gives us that confidence to each and every person, man and a woman, that they are able to compete with each other on an equal footing, because the Constitution allows that. It's just a matter of resources. Otherwise, resources alone do not matter, but it's also an issue of party politics and also how you package yourself as a candidate, because sometimes you may find that you are well mannered enough to run a good, successful campaign, but you still get, a defeat